Waikaraka Park Speedway for round 3 of the International Super Saloon Series. We've got Jason FEGER here from America. We've been hanging out this week. We met a few years ago and did a bit of work for him, 2 separate trips. So it's pretty cool to have him and Abby and their little girl win over here in New Zealand. So we've been hanging out this week, did a bit of fishing, a bit of golfing, a bit of drinking beer and whatnot.
Working on some race cars.
Yeah, that too. So yeah, Jason's racing tonight. This is his final night before he goes back to America. So we thought we'd have a chat to him and just get his thoughts on New Zealand racing and our cars and whatnot. So what's the main difference you reckon with our cars compared to your ones, man?
Well, obviously when I first came over here, everybody was on a torsion bar rear end. So it was more set like I'd say a big block modified. So that was way different feeling, but now a lot of you guys have went to the conventional, I would call conventional 4-bar setup, really similar to our stuff. So now the cars feel a lot more similar. So you know, a lot of our setup stuff's kind of transitioned over to these cars. But you know, obviously the tires are a big feel difference. They're quite a bit wider than what we can run. Way different, you know, different molds. Where they roll out like a 100-inch right rear roll out. So and they're soft. And you guys are kind of limited. They're not really limited on compound, but they're just kind of limited on what availability.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes they're running racers, sometimes they're running Hoosiers. It's more what they can get wear and stuff like that. So and tires are really expensive here, right?
Yeah, $500 for a tire at least.
500 NZ, so it's quite a bit more than they can buy in the States. I think another big difference is they don't have any motor setback at all, where we're allowed 6 inches. So that's pretty big. I thought I'd feel a bigger difference than I did out there, but it didn't really feel that different. And then obviously we have steel motors, or steel blocks, aluminum heads. So you know, that's different, but you know, it really didn't feel a whole lot different in that aspect. I don't know, I think they got a lot of cool things that we can't do. You know, you guys can weight jackers, adjustable shocks, they can run injection like a sprint car would, or they can run carburetors. But with the weight rule is kind of weird because it's like, what is it, every 5 cubic inches you got to weigh so many more pounds or something like that? Yeah, it's like every different size motor has a different weight to it. So that's a little confusing, you know, and then there's obviously a difference. It's a very substantial difference from like a 350 or 360 up to like a 430. So it's a lot of weight if you're talking about a big jump like that. So that's kind of interesting. What else?
So compared to the last time you came here, do you think our Super Saloon class is heading in the right direction?
Yeah, I absolutely think it's heading in the right direction. I mean, I just think it's going to be easier to transition our information over to you guys and parts, whether they're used or new, you know, that stuff is just going to go further, you know, get more out of used parts and the dollar because it's more common.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's a transition. I feel like from what I see, I feel like the racing's better. You know, we've only went to Palmerston for 1 weekend, 2 nights, but I feel like the first time I came out here, for the most time, we just ran around the inside, like the cars were all sideways, no traction, no side bite. So it was, you know, the tracks are so narrow here that it's hard to have multi-group racing anyway. So I do feel like you see guys moving around a lot more and trying different lines way more than we did last time, and you know, I feel like that'll lead to better racing.
And that leads to the next question, like what's the main difference with our sort of racing style? Maybe our tracks are different, our heat races, feature laps are different, like the whole feel of New Zealand racing, what's the big difference, you know? You do more races than us?
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys definitely don't do near as many as we do. I mean, most guys race, what, probably 20 to 30 races a year over here?
15, 20. We've done, this is our 19th.
Yeah, so, you know, obviously most guys, by us, I'd say a weekend guy probably does 40 or minimum, you know, where, you know, a lot of guys like me, we're doing 70 to 80, and, you know, you got guys all the way up to 120 nights by us. Which is crazy, seeing how we have good seasons and bad seasons, and it's pretty nice here all year round. But it's cool because it is more niche thing here. It's not, by us, it kind of gets watered down because there's so much racing, where I feel like every event here is maybe a little bit more special because you better do it while you can because there's not as many. So I do really like that atmosphere. Like the fans are so grateful and nice here about, you know, just being here racing and actually getting to see a race because there's just not so much of it. And I think sometimes by us it's taken for granted because you just go to the next one or whatever, right? So that's pretty cool. But obviously the tracks are just narrow. I mean, the shape, they're not really smaller. I mean, they're nice. I mean, I would say pretty average sized quarter-mile tracks, but they're I would say a lot of them just mimic like a high school running track. You know, they're very narrow and very flat, and they have what's called a pull line, which is like a concrete line on the infield, and you can't really get like your tires inside of there to pass a guy, or you'll get penalized. So, you know, I feel like a lot of the tracks, if they just got rid of that and made a, you know, another car length wider, the tracks would be awesome. And, you know, maybe add some banking, but that pull line's, I think, in there for some other classes more so than us, and but unfortunately it enforces the rules, and these cars are so big that it, you know, it definitely makes it harder to race when the track's so narrow.
Cool. What's the plan tonight?
Plan tonight is let's hope it doesn't rain, and obviously want to go fast and win. So I know me and Karen talk about some other differences, but like I think it's really fascinating over here. I see a lot of craftsmanship and how much you guys fabricate stuff. You know, back home, like now it's to the point pretty much everybody just buys everything. We just go buy speed, and you know, over here these guys are taking, I mean, old race cars, and they're cutting them up and putting 4-bar plates on them, and you got a few guys building cars, so then there's some new cars, and you know, they're making bodies. A lot of these guys are fiberglass in their own bodies because aluminum panels are harder to come by over here. They're just now starting to go to aluminum panels, some of these guys, but like, you know, these guys might be building their motor in the garage, fiberglass in their own body panels, welding their own frames on there, they're straightening their own steel wheels. They're like, it's so crazy, some of the ingenuity and the stuff I've seen over here. And these guys, like, either no, they're not like at home where they're just the rich daddy's kids that are just buying speed. These guys are hand making a lot of stuff, and it's very cool to me to see that, because I feel like it's more like an old school feel like we used to have around the house. So I really appreciate that, and I like that a lot. Obviously they're limited on their body rules. That's why they look, I would say, like a sportsman car. But a lot of the body rules is because the track's so small, you know, it'd be really hard. I feel like our cars are too big, actually. So I wish that we'd be a little bit narrower and shorter. So I feel like we'd have better racing. But they're, you know, they're limited on the rules. The tires have to stick out of the bodies. They can be very narrow, very short. So the noses, they actually cut what, probably 6 inches out of the noses. Yeah, at least to get them narrowed up enough to meet the rules. And
so going to that, is there any rules in New Zealand that you'd like to have in America in your cars?
Well, I think we can definitely go back and make our bodies smaller. I think we're a little out of control on our bodies. You know, it's nice, like, at the end of the night here, these guys just load them right up with a trailer. They're not unhooking body panels. Their trailers are narrower than ours, so they're not unhooking body panels and crazy stuff like that, right? And that makes the tracks a little bit bigger. So I feel like we could definitely get our bodies a little bit smaller. I mean, I don't know that we have to go this dramatic, but I definitely feel like there's some stuff there. I think it's cool. They're not really limited on some of the rules. I mean, they probably will get to the point, but like right now, you can run weight jacks, you can run adjustable shocks, you can run devices, you can run spring rods. I mean, there's so much stuff that they can do right now that that is just crazy. You know, that some of the stuff we've never been allowed to do. So that's pretty cool. But the safety stuff's different too. Like some things are way overly safe on, and some things they're not. So like they don't have to run a fire extinguisher, but we have to get our gear inspected every single night. Even if you got a track for a 2-day show, you got to go both nights. Same helmet, same shoes, everything, but you still got to go get it checked out. Yep. So some things it's a pain, and some things, you know, it's just crazy. It's different, but at the end of the day, we're all racing and having a lot of fun, and these guys definitely, if you knew the roads they traveled and how far they traveled to get to really to go race for no money, you would be shocked compared to what we do in it. But they're truly doing it because they love it. It's crazy. Like most Americans would say, you guys are just crazy, you know, for doing it the way you do it. But I mean, we're lucky to have the big money by us. So, but at the end of the day, these guys are doing it for, you know, for their passion. And it's awesome.
That's right. Yeah. And the final question, obviously, you do this racing gig as your day job. So how are you able to do that? Obviously, you rely on sponsors, merchandise, better prize money. Yeah. Obviously, works for you.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, the more you win, the better it is. But I'm very fortunate to sell in merchandise. So you know, buying any merchandise from your drivers definitely really helps go a long way. And then fortunate to have some really good sponsors. So that's you know, it hasn't always been that way, but the last, you know, 5-6 years I've been lucky, and I've had guys really step up, and you know, that's part of the reason I think like we've been more successful. So it takes a lot of hard work and definitely a lot of money.
Yep. No, awesome. Hey guys, that's all. Yeah, we're gonna get ready to go here shortly for night 3. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. Bring it on.
It's a 25, and look at the car, it's all back and it's all bruised. But I'll tell you what, it's a fantastic machine. He deserves a big send off. Give him a thank you, go partner. Boy, what a night it's been tonight. We've had a fantastic night. We've had the winners right now. get it done. Thank you very much for being a part of the show here at Prestige Falls Waikaraka Speedway.
Got FEGER here, overdrive kart. See how good he is. We got the win on Monday.
Good at that. Yeah, I'm definitely good at doing that.
Doing drive?
Chunking. Don't matter.
Oh. John, mate. That's very nice. Get up.
Not a bad shot from the old boy. What do you reckon, Ben? How's the team's effort so far, mate?
Will come good.
Yeah?
Yeah, time.
Fine.
Probably the biggest one, the second biggest.